Hello, and welcome to a Transcendence episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, Sasha McDonald of Transcend Taping. Sasha is a enthusiastic union apprentice with a company called City Mark out of Toronto. She's college educated and tested the water in sports before finding a home in the union.
Yeah, finally I decided, you know what, I do feel a little stuck where I am. Let me just try something completely different for myself. And hopped in, started out with school for straight 3 months. And then basically the school set me up with City Mark and I've never looked back since. So that's been like 2.5 years.
Like an apprenticeship.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I'm currently in, I'm actually about a month away from 75% done my apprenticeship.
We discuss using athleticism as a catalyst for mental stability while on the job. We discuss the importance of wearing whites and some union finishing techniques she's learned in the union. I'm very excited and honored to kick off the 2024 sponsorship series with Columbia Tools as our January and February sponsors. This is the second time that Columbia has sponsored the Drywall Podcast, and we're grateful to them for that. Stay tuned throughout January for exciting ice bath giveaways, and all culminating into a great special Rocky Mountain adventure happening at the end of February, where I'll be interviewing 2 surprise guests. Columbia Tools is a family-owned and operated business that's been rocking the drywall finishing scene for over 4 decades. Manufactures commercial-grade tools in Canada using cutting-edge machinery and all North American-made materials. You can catch my 2-part interview with Aaron and Elliot of Columbia Tools on episodes 23 and 26 on the Drywall Podcast, as well as my live interview with their dad, Bernie St. James, founder of Columbia Tools, on episode 54. You can also catch that entire episode on our Instagram page. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a sweet swag bucket from CSR, full of all kinds of cool swag, including, but not limited to, our sample pack of Fresco Harmony. That's exciting. Are you interested in being on the Drywall Podcast? You can reach out to me directly at info@frescoharmony.com. I would love to hear your story. But for now, Sasha McDonald, Transcend Taping, on the 81st episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Sasha McDonald, a very young 30 out of
Toronto, Ontario. Yep.
I can't read my notes here. But it's not Toronto.
So I work out in Toronto, but I'm from Newtonville. Very, very small town. I just moved to about an hour outside of Toronto.
Home of the Fig Newton, right?
That's where they invented, you know what? Maybe. We'll start saying that. It'll catch on, I'm sure.
Cool. And so your husband does audio stuff?
No, actually, he's a pretty big gamer tech guy. He also does some streaming as well. For a career though, he's in construction as well. He's by Red Seal, a drywall mechanic. And then so he's in doing the drywall, framing, layout, and all that kind of stuff that way.
Red Seal, what is that?
So in Canada, a certain amount of trades and occupations are recognized as Red Seal when you reach a certain amount of hours or stuff like that. So under that, so he would be able to get a Red Seal. And then for taping as well, it's a Red Seal. So say if I went and worked in Alberta, it's still recognized as the same thing as it would be in Ontario that way.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the most important question that I ask, have you listened to the Drywall Podcast?
Yes, I have actually, previous to just getting us coming together right now too.
Okay. So you were like, I better beef up a little bit. What did you listen to?
So I listened to a couple of the Broly Dad, just because I had been on his podcast as well, and we connected over
Okay.
Instagram a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as well, I think I mentioned to you yesterday the Christy Slade, my girl Christy. So I definitely listened to those ones as well.
Shout out to Christy. And then
Yeah,
what's your husband's name, if you don't mind?
that's okay. His name is Clayton McDonald.
Clayton. And how long have you two been married?
We've been married this March will be 3 years, and that'll be a total together of 13 years.
Wow, he was really dragging his feet there, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what some people say, but I always say it's like we kind of knew what would happen anyway, so no rush and might as well do it the way we want to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds pretty chill.
Yeah.
Sasha McDonald, 30. That's pretty young. When did you start messing around in the drywall trade? Was it because of Clayton?
Yes, actually, yeah, you guessed
All right.
right. So I think he's just going into his say sixth year in construction. And now he's like foreman on site, running everything that way. So he's doing great. And then so this February will actually be my 2 years.
Oh,
Um,
you're new. You're
yeah, I'm a
new.
newbie, as they say. Yeah.
But you've got like you're a girl, so or a woman. You've got
Yeah.
like 50,000 followers already.
Oh, I wish. Yeah, I think I'm still under 2,000, so we're getting up there,
Yes.
but we'll figure it out.
Yes.
But yeah,
That's
so yeah,
that's still
about two
more
years
than
in.
Fresco Harmony, and I think Fresco Harmony's been out a long time, maybe seven. I don't know, long time. I've been on Facebook over 13 years. I mean,
Oh,
when
nice. Okay, yeah. You're a
Pages,
vet
I
then.
remember, yeah, Pages just coming out. I mean, I'm older, Gen Xer, so
Mhm.
I remember Facebook. I remember MySpace.
Oh,
Like,
MySpace. I do remember MySpace too. I
yeah,
remember Pixo, all those hilarious
yeah,
websites.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, that was so long ago. And then people sort of started to climb onto the social media scene. What a
Yeah.
great outlet, though, for the drywall community, although it's had its ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely social media in that way can have its negative part, but the
Yeah.
reason it was kind of made it is to make everyone connect and make connections easier and be able to reach out. So I've definitely been able to, well, just connecting with you through Instagram, right? Like that's been a great
Yeah.
opportunity for both of us. And then me and Christy, I've now actually met her in person and stuff, but
Okay.
originally it was through Instagram that we were kind of messaging and she reached out to me and just slowly supporting each other through like random posts and this and that. But it seems so minor, but it really does make a difference.
Drywall. It's so interesting. But prior to drywall,
Mhm.
well, a couple things. You said that you get off early on Fridays. Is that every Friday?
Yeah, every Friday. So we work a total, at least with my company, I work 37 hours. So I work four
Okay.
8-hour days and then 5 hours on Friday.
Beautiful.
Yeah, not bad.
What,
I'm happy to start the weekend a little bit earlier than usual.
yeah. Duh. When I worked in Colorado, the boss would take us out to lunch, and sometimes we'd have too many beers and start our weekend early.
What are you gonna do,
Um,
right?
that was a long time ago, though,
Yeah,
maybe
we've
19
all been
years
there.
ago, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, my boss in Colorado was pretty cool. But
Nice.
that's a cool feature. What company are you working for currently?
So right now I'm with City Mark. It's actually the company I started with 2 years ago, and I'm still currently with them.
Okay, so before that, though, I mean, you had 28 years of
Yeah.
what? Did you try to go to
Crazy.
college? Random,
Yeah.
hanging out with Clayton. Clayton's
Yeah.
going and doing stuff. You're doing whatever. What are you doing?
I've been all over the place. Yeah, definitely hang out with Clay, and then the family and friends are a big thing for me, as it is for everyone.
Yeah,
But prior to this, I did after high school, I took a year off, basically just to kind of figure out what I wanted to do, and also just play a little extra sports. Athletics are definitely other than say my career right now, I'd say sports and lacrosse specifically are like my big passion.
that's
But
right.
but
And you guys do ice
yeah.
baths too.
Yeah, I'll say
Back in
I
the
will
day.
only say I've only done two. So since we spoke, I've done one more. So that's pretty good.
There you
That's
go.
not bad. I'm getting there, right? Where Clay is like almost every day. So one day I'll be on his level. But yeah,
Yeah.
so after high school, took the year off and then I went to Humber College actually in Ontario.
Okay.
And I took a 3-year program there to for sports management. So just it was very general program, but I got a lot out of it. They covered a lot of basis and that sort of thing.
What
But
did
I
you
did
want to
enjoy it.
do with a sports management education?
At the time, I was still unsure exactly of what I maybe wanted to do, but I knew something. I wasn't aware of, say, trades yet, but something within the athletic realm, whether it was working for like a non-for-profit, working within a league, I was big into sponsorship and events as well. So like getting the tournament set up, making sure there's promotions, the swag, the everything that goes into it.
Cool.
So I could, yeah, kind of a general interest in it. And then while I was there, I did play for the varsity rugby team. So as soon as I was there, I was set into just sports mode anyway. So it was no regrets looking back because obviously now I'm not in a sports career.
Yeah.
But it was it was the greatest time ever. Looking back, I gained a lot of like confidence and a lot of like networking and connections from it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I did afterwards. And then from there, I moved back home and I just went into, I think I actually started working at Sport Check. So worked there in just retail. I was kind of back and forth throughout retail jobs, just random management, worked for Home Depot for a little bit in their merchandising section.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was installing the lights that you see for the display, the all the orange beams and everything, like every big display like that.
It always seems like it would be kind of fun to work at Home Depot. Like,
Mhm.
am I like the only one that kind of feel, or Costco's another one? Like Costco
Right?
is like those guys are having fun, especially the tire department. Like I always
Yeah.
see the dudes, they got the music going, they're changing tires and stuff. I'm like, oh
Yeah, it looks
man,
like they're
I'd
just
love to
hanging
work.
out.
Yeah, I'd love to work with the tire guys at Costco. They're
Yeah, it
always
wasn't too
busy,
bad.
cars
Yeah.
coming in constantly.
Your
Yeah,
day
it'd be
goes
fun.
by pretty fast. That's true.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Home Depot, it was nice. I was still on the floor, but I wasn't specifically there for customers. So like I would help every once in a while, but I could also kind of just like get in the zone, get done what I needed to, and then still have the social aspect, which was nice.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, kind of from there, I was kind of just like at a standstill, feeling lost, almost kind of like everyone else in the world right now too, with jobs and that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
then yeah, my
Yeah.
husband Clayton, about a year before I got into taping, I think he mentioned it to me, just kind of saying he thinks it would be something I would like be very keen on and take to really
Yeah.
fast. And I kind of pushed him off for a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah,
here or there.
don't tell me what to do, Clay. I got
Yeah,
this.
you don't know. I need to figure this out for myself, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can't be
Yeah.
told what to do. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But so him and one of his coworkers, they did a few side jobs. So I hopped on the side jobs doing the painting for it. Just naturally throughout life, I've just always kind of like randomly been painting rooms here or there with my like family. So
Okay.
it comes easy to me for the detail aspect of it. I think that's maybe what Clay saw.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, finally I decided, you know what? I do feel a little stuck where I am. Let me just try something completely different for myself.
Okay.
And yeah, hopped in, started out with school for straight 3 months, and then basically the school set me up with City Mark, and I've never looked back since. So that's been like
Like an
2.5 years.
like an apprenticeship.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I'm currently in I'm actually about a month away from 75% done my apprenticeship.
Beautiful. Cool. So
Yes.
you're in an apprenticeship and you're a union member.
Yes, union member with IU Pat.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I started in the union as a 50%
Okay.
apprentice.
Yes, I remember hearing,
Yeah.
I think you were mentioning that to Christy on one of them too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a great route to go. It's a little lengthy.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different ways to go, but the one thing that we haven't touched on though is like, because I'm a collegiate athlete as well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of athleticism to finishing
Yeah.
drywall. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
like the different muscles, the strength, and also the fine, like the fine tune muscle use and some of the tools, the
Yeah.
bazooka, like some of these tools, even running the knives is very athletic, I think. And then you're
Oh yeah.
climbing around on scaffold and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's just,
Yeah.
I
Lift
feel
in the
like,
mud. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it caters to like sort of an athletic mindset, right?
Yeah, and like the hard work and like mentally you're drained sometimes, but you got to stay in that ceiling or whatever it is that way. So you kind of, like you were saying, from that athletic point of view, you already have that mental stability to push through certain things. So
Yes.
get through that hard labor that construction brings for sure. So yeah, definitely, I would say I've never looked at it that way, but it probably has pushed me and gave
Yeah.
me a better ability to work in the trades.
Now, did you get razzed pretty hard? We'll sort of go through, we'll go because I got rat like from day one, and I'm kind of a smart ass anyways. So
Yeah.
that did not help. But like the journeymen that I worked with were some roughnecks, man.
Okay.
So Sasha you walk onto the job like first day. You had to be nervous.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
have like tools with you? Like was it I was younger than you too. I think I was like
Mhm.
22, maybe. I was like,
Okay.
21, 22. But
Mhm.
how did that first like week? And then also there was an aspect of like you're just doing the shit work. So
Yeah.
it sucks kind of like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like I
First
don't want to
year.
do this for my whole life. This is like horrible.
Yeah. It's a
And
lot all at once.
you got to push through that. Let's walk me through your experience in the first like week, month, year.
Yeah.
Um, just because it is hard to push through that.
hmm Yeah, I will say, I think I have maybe more of a positive story than some people have.
Good, good.
Whether that's because I am a woman or just who I got set up with. Because I will say too, like we as women, and I'm sure you've heard
Okay.
too, we go through our
Yeah,
trials and stuff when we hit
yeah,
the construction sites. But I got
yeah.
actually set up with an amazing journeyman. Shout out Carlos. He
Okay.
set me up. I did, sorry, first day I did come. I had like the basic tools, like a 6, an 8, a 10, 12-inch
Okay.
trowel, sanding pole, just kind of like that sort of thing.
Wait, how did you know what tools to bring to the job?
So when I first started the school that I mentioned that I went to,
Okay.
it's called IFSTC. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
International Training Center, I think for
Finishing
finish.
school?
Yeah, finishing school. There we go. Yeah, I'm like, what is it? Oh yeah, I'm a drywall technician.
International Finishing School and Training Center.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. So basically, like you were saying, there's different ways to get into any trade. You can kind
Okay.
of start with any company where from my husband's knowledge and kind of my own research
Okay.
as well, I wasn't sure of what trade I maybe specifically wanted to go into when I
Sure.
started thinking about the trades. I knew
Yeah.
taping was definitely at the top of it, but I was looking at painting and then maybe a couple other like random ones. But the one thing that got me with, at least in Ontario and with IFSTC, you start out with 3 months of school. So they give you all your certifications, all your training. They give you the basics of this is a flat, this is a butt, this is how you code it. And in
Okay.
the end, you actually you finish your own little like construction hut. So you do like the
Okay,
ceiling, the
so you
corners.
don't start working for 3 months. You
No.
just go
So
to
at least,
school.
yeah. So other trades, you do kind of get right into it. And then you may take the 2 or 3 month break to go to school and then come back to site.
Okay. All right.
Where taping in Ontario, at least you start out with the 3 month in school and then you start. So you
Okay,
don't ever like come back to school.
what's that like the 3 month school? How often do you go? And just give me a brief summary of what that
Yeah.
was like, getting you prepped, and do you get paid?
Yeah, so you don't get paid during it, and there is the fee. But when you finish your apprenticeship, you get that fee fully back. So it's kind of just like a reassurance that you're going to go through and
Okay.
kind of stick to your word, which is
What's the
a nice
fee?
way to kind of push you. Yeah, it's I believe it's 900 for taping. It might be
Oh, okay.
800 for painting.
All right.
Um,
It's
but you
not
do get
cheap. It's
that
not
back.
nothing.
Yeah, no, it is something to start out, but in that you do get they provide you, and I think it is through the government as well, but they kind of give you all the information for it. So like a tool grant to start out with. There's other ways, say if people, because when you're away at school, obviously kind of take some time, you're not able to work. Some people aren't
Yeah.
able to. So
Yeah.
they have different fundings and different loans and different
Okay.
grants through the school as well to like in lieu of that. So it can kind of help you out at least.
Cool.
But yeah, so it's 3 months. And like I said, they set you up in the beginning. They kind of just give you the rundown, the basics of like, this is 45, this is
Yeah.
ready mix, this is just everything you can think of. They provide that. There's 2 instructors that we have.
Okay.
And then from there, you actually hit the floor and you begin practicing on the wall. So they get you to row spot all the screws and then learn how to
Yeah.
hit the beads properly with your trowel. Yeah, exactly.
Spin the outlets.
The
Spin the
swoop.
outlets.
Yeah, yeah. Give the nice big finish on it all.
Yeah.
So they kind of give you the basics of everything. And then they always just let you know, like, we're showing you these things, but you'll learn from everyone and you'll kind of make it your own signature moves sort of thing, your own signature taper.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 3 months of just straight school. So like, I think it was like 7 to 3 every day, Monday through Friday.
Wow. How
Yeah.
the hell do you fit in that much time? I mean, it seems like it would be efficient to throw you guys onto a job at least or take you into
Yeah.
the field. Is there a little bit of that, or is it just like a warehouse where they have sheetrock put on and then they rip it down when you guys are done?
It kind of is more the latter of what you said, but we do for say like the first couple weeks, we're in the classroom learning more of the material, the actual history of it all, and just the safety kind of behind it. And then, like I said, when we hit the floor, the school I go to actually is the school for the drywallers and framers.
Okay.
So their kind of project while they're in school is to frame and drywall that little hutch. And then we as tapers get the hutch and then we are to tape it, and that's where our like say our learning chalkboard is or whatever. So we do all our
Yeah.
practice work on that, and then by the end it's to be finished properly, and then you get graded on it. You're graded it throughout the whole entire thing of
Okay.
participation, your skill level, obviously your hard work, and then what kind of like percentage you actually finish at. And then there is a midterm and everything, like they're very serious
Great.
midterm. And then
It's
in the end,
awesome.
there's another test as well. Lots of resources too, if you ever need any help. But yeah, it's acts as if it was a job site. Like they're just walking around. They don't really give you any info. Like once you're set, you can ask a little bit of questions, but they want you to kind of figure it out on your own, almost as if when you go to job site, they give you some info, but they're also kind of like, let me see what you can do. Let me see what you
Yeah.
got in you. You know
Well,
what I
with
mean?
finishing too, there's an aspect of developing your own method,
Yeah, exactly.
like they were saying that you have to just kind of like that person's going to do it different than me. If I'm
Yeah.
training somebody to do fresco, it's like here, cover the wall. I work from left to right, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Get the mud on there. It needs to look like this.
Mhm.
However that happens is fine as long as
Yeah.
it looks like this. You know.
Exactly. If the end result's the same, sweet. But this is how I get there at least. So yeah, kind of like I said, take little tips and tricks from everyone.
It's so cool. So in mine, we went to school once a week for
Oh,
3 hours. Our tools had to be immaculate. We had to
oh,
wear,
very
we
intense.
wore
Yeah.
whites.
Mhm.
Did your tools have to be immaculate?
Yeah, end of the day, like they wouldn't be like checking through our bags or anything, but they were pretty on top of like the water needs to be clean. There's no tracking mud around. And I don't wear
Good.
whites anymore, but in school we had to have white pants and white shirt.
Wait,
So
wait a second. Why don't you wear whites anymore?
I just honestly, as soon as I knew I didn't have to wear whites on a job site, I bought just like black or just I think actually Costco, speaking of Costco jeans are great.
You don't like the Dickies.
I don't know whether it's because of girls, but there's a lot of it's hard to find pants that fit sometimes. So like,
I was a
yeah, I'll
huge
have to
fan of
try some
Dickie.
out maybe. But yeah, I honestly I bought a pair of Carhartt to start, and I'm like, okay, amazing, and they've been good, but then they ripped. So I'm like, okay, maybe if I'm gonna be ripping them this often, I'll go a little honestly cheaper if I'm gonna go through them that fast. But the
Yeah.
Costco pants have so much stretch in them; they've been wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bought a pair of Costco and I cut them into shorts, but they were
Yeah.
like work pants. I cut all my pants into shorts during summer.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like Albuquerque, it gets hot down here. So
Yeah.
all of my pants throughout the year become shorts. I'm on the wall less now, but let me show you. They're like soft.
Okay. Yeah.
They're like, you know. They get
Honestly,
like
people pay good money for that.
they get super soft, and then
Yeah.
you can get different cuts. But then I like the belt loop on the side. I noticed you
Yeah.
wear a back loop for your
Yes.
six, which is
Yeah.
that's kind of a cool method.
Yeah, I like doing that. Honestly, any knife that I'm using that day it can fit at least three. So I'll probably have my 8 and my 6 at least on me, maybe a 4, depending on like what I'm working on.
Okay.
But yeah, I find because when we learned, we were just to have our knives in our back pocket, and the amount of times you like clip your arm or that sort of thing, and especially when we're learning and we're not used to the knives too. But so
Yeah.
now that it's in the middle of my back, I can easily just go hands free if I need, quick,
Yeah.
grab it back, and then I
I
didn't
like
mind
that.
having it on the side, but if you squat down, I've like poked my leg a couple times too, so it's fully out of the way and like safety wise, it's great.
Very cool. So didn't get paid in school for 3 months.
Yeah.
That is so interesting to me. There's a lot of questions about that. Like we were thrown to the wolves, you know, I had to do class once, but I was at 50%. Now,
Yeah.
when you graduate from IFSTC, what percentage journeyman are you at that point? Are you at 50?
So technically we would still be at the 0 mark. We're in the beginning stages, but
Oh, I
we
love
do.
it. You're zeros.
Yeah, you just get 0 off the bat. Just start you off on the
Blank
ground,
clay,
right?
just a piece
Yeah.
of clay ready to be
Yeah, you get
molded.
no advances. Yeah, no, we did at least get, I think it was 700 hours towards our total hours from school. So we didn't get paid, but the hours we
Okay,
were there still kind of went towards it at least.
good.
So yeah, at least our time was put towards something.
Okay,
Um,
now we were 50, 55, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then journeyman.
okay, yes.
How did your percentage rates go? So when you got out, I mean, 50 was like zero in my world.
Yeah.
You got paid 50% of what a journeyman drywall finisher would get paid.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up here. Actually, I had it the
Okay.
other day. Oh, there it is. So yeah, basically, sorry, we don't start at 0, but you start at 0
Yeah.
hours. So I start at 55%, and then it goes
Okay.
to 65, 75, and then you're capped at 90 until you write your red seal test.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
And have you done that by this time? No,
No,
you're at
so
75.
yeah, I was gonna say actually I just handed in my hours today. So right now I'm just about to hit at the end of the month. I'll hit 75%. So that next bump I get by that time, I'll be able to say write my test and see if I can be 100%. Yeah.
I was at 60%. Maybe I was at 70. I was in the union about a year and a half,
Hmm.
all said and done. But I requested a raise up to like
Okay.
80%. I was like, I'm
Nice.
better than these guys. I can walk stilts.
Yeah, why
I feel
not?
like I was picking stuff up pretty quick. I had training
Mhm.
prior to being in the
Yeah.
union. And after about a year, I was like, I submitted a request for 80% journeyman wage and I got it.
Perfect. Yeah. Why not
Yeah.
ask, right? It's worth a
Uh,
try.
we didn't have like a red seal test or anything like
Mhm.
that. I never did officially journey out I
Yeah.
ended up moving down to Arizona and I started working piece rate and stuff. And then you just like
Yeah.
all,
Then
another education factor that you might consider is that it's so different. One thing I didn't realize about drywall when I did it and I was in Portland, Oregon, in the Northwest, moving to like the Southwest or
yeah.
Colorado, it's so different in different areas. Like you guys probably don't learn anything about texturing.
No, we don't. Honestly, we learn on like the stucco factor. Like we learned a quick, maybe 2-day thing about that in school. And then we did a little bit of, have you heard of jewel stone before?
No.
So it's like almost like a mix between concrete and the drywall compound that we use. And it's
Cool.
used to almost make like a fake brick look. So you can do whatever design you want. Basically, there's this wire or sorry, tape that has wire in it, and you can make triangles, whatever, the shapes of bricks, the like patio stones, like round ones, everything like that. You make your
Cool.
little design, you coat fully over it, make sure it's nice and flat, You wait about maybe 10 minutes. It looks as if you like skimmed a wall. Wait about 10 minutes, and then you just pull the tape and it shows, reveals your design. And then from there, you think you maybe wait another few minutes or say 20 minutes, and you can add its powder that's colored, and you can make your own brickwork. So a little bit of red, some rust, some browns and stuff like that. So yeah, that was just like a quick 2-day thing too that we learned in school, but it's definitely something you could use for like a feature wall or around like a fireplace or anything. So I'd say that was like the textured work we've done so far. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's where Fresco Harmony was born. They pulled out the color in the union, in the apprenticeship.
Unreal.
And I made a mural. I ended up making like a mural with joint compound and plasters and color and stuff. And then we also did lately on the Fresco Harmony page, there's been a couple of things about the glue. So the instructor at one point rolled out a wall with Elmer's glue, and then we did mud over the top of it, and it cracked. And I mean, normally there would be no application for that, or what you're talking about is just kind of a tchotchke knowledge that you file away.
Yeah.
But in my world now, it's I'm doing like colored joint compound walls all the time. So like anything is possible. All of that knowledge comes into play. That tape sounds very interesting to me too, but also the jewel stone, like that's cool. It must be do you know what product, what company that product comes from?
Honestly, I don't know. I can message you sometime when I do
like
find out.
USG.
I'm assuming something like that, because it was it was through the school, and I know that they have like a couple partnerships with them and like CGC, the drywall compound as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure specifically, but yeah, and in the end, it just hardens exactly like a brick, and it, like I said, you would never know it wasn't brick or stone on your wall once you were done. Yeah, super cool. Yeah.
And do you seal it afterwards?
I think you can, like, you can do, if you want like that glossy kind of sheen to it, sometimes that patios have, or you can just do it the rough look and it just looks like rough exposed brick.
Totally. You could probably spray it with a sealer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it would probably last. Sure, you wouldn't probably have that much of an issue with it lasting, but it might give it that extra little strength too.
Very cool. I love that kind of stuff. So you graduate, so to speak, you're at 55%, and this apprenticeship program gives you or school, as you call it. What do they call it there?
Yeah, so the school is what I went to, which started my apprenticeship, but it's basically, they'll give me a red ceiling in the end. Is that what you were meaning? Sorry.
Just what they call the apprenticeship. Do they call it an apprenticeship?
Yeah, they just call it an apprenticeship. So yeah, drywall finisher apprenticeship. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys don't do any hanging, steel stud, painting. It's just finishing.
Yeah, it's just finishing. The odd time, like, we will do some of like the caulking, depending on like the pipe work and stuff like that. But yeah, it's straight just finishing. I know some companies in Ontario, the tapers do install some of like the beads or like the trim text plastic bead that can go around certain areas.
Yeah.
At least with my company, or out of Toronto right now, we are just strictly taping.
That was going to be one of my questions, was like the corner bead, because that seems like, a lot of finishers don't do the corner bead, but it's such a big deal, and that we're not like, they're not introduced to a lot of the possibilities that are available with corner bead, reveal beads, all of the specialty corner beads that Trimtex has, all of these things that are super, super cool stuff. That should definitely be a part of that program. If I was a new person and I listened to the Drywall podcast and I got excited about Sasha's story and I wanted to join the union, what route would I go? Because you had Clay, he kind of helped, maybe he knew where to go, but is there a website that somebody can look on to check that out?
Yeah, actually. So say, at least for people in Ontario, you would just have to, if you can go to the union website, so the IUPAT website, International Union of Painters and Allied Trades. If you go to that website, it'll list the trades all in a pull down list. You can select each one. And then once you're actually on that page, it will give you the school or company connections or contacts that you need to maybe go through them in order to get signed up through the union or sign up with a company. So for
Okay.
me, I did know through Clay, like you said, but if you just wanted to know about it within Ontario, you can also just Google the IFSTC, and it also lists same thing, pull down list of all the trades that they have, how long it takes, the fee, what you get out of it, what it entails.
Okay.
There's actually some photos on the website. And then from there, same thing, contact information, and you can register right there. You'll get an email and then it'll let you know. I think there's 4 classes a year every 3 months, or I might have that backwards, but
Okay.
something like that. So basically, if you don't make this month, you can make the next one in 4 months. But yeah, you just
Okay.
have to hop on the website and all the information's there, and like they're very helpful in the office as well.
It's cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool. That's a 3-month program versus college where you come out and you're making money.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I'm not gonna lie, I'm making a lot more now than what I did coming out of college. So, yeah, trades has been very good for me, and that too. Anyone listening,
yeah.
and you're like, man, I need to make some money. You can make a lot of money very
Yeah.
fast. Like I said, my
Yeah.
apprenticeship is 3 years, and in 3 years, I'm making great amount. And me and my husband have been very lucky, and we're very grateful. But we're able to
Cool.
buy a house, and in today's age, buying a house is not the easiest thing, but
No.
two like me and him being two partners both in the trades has been a huge just opportunity and advancement for
Yeah.
us.
And you have full benefits and all that stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the
Yeah, you're
benefits
taken
are
care of.
huge. Yeah. And there's
Good
so
for
many
you.
different companies. Like if you, like I said, I was lucky enough to get up set up with a company. The guys I was with like were very like I said, forthcoming with information and helpful, or just here's some contact lists that I had, where if you don't
Yeah.
have the great experience, there's so many companies, you can just go to another one, find the people you really chime with, and you'll be all set.
I'm proud of you. That's cool.
Thank you.
It's
I
it's a really
appreciate
cool
that very
story.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. Very neat. So now we can talk about your first week.
Yeah.
Because that's a bit the apprenticeship thing is a route. Not everybody, it's actually a unique route going through an
Yeah.
apprenticeship program. Of the people that I talked to on this show,
Yeah.
their dads did it. Their dad teaches them how to do it, or their
Mhm.
grandpa. They learn. But you had a different experience, and that probably when you came onto the job, they were like, "Hey, you guys got to be cool with
Yeah.
Sasha."
I feel like nowadays, even if some people don't follow it, they do
Yeah,
get that kind of talk. Hey, someone's
yeah,
starting a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's try not to give her too hard of a time.
yeah,
Um, and it was very intimidating. Like walking into
yeah,
any job is so
yeah,
intimidating, but knowing that, okay, the chances of another woman being on site are, I'm probably 1 in 2 or 1 in 3
yeah,
on site.
yeah.
Which when I started, I think I was 1 in 3 on site. So even that though, I was like, hey, I thought I might be the only one. So it was nice
Totally.
to kind of walk into.
Yeah.
But yeah, my boss Carlos, like I said, shout out to him and shout out to a couple of my other coworkers there. They really took me under their wing. And like within the first week, it was kind of like, okay, go to that corner. If you have questions, you can ask me after, but let me just see what you can do. So
Okay.
you kind of second guess yourself, but I started realizing if I just stop questioning, I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing and I can do it right. So I just need to do it. So
Yeah.
after a while, I just kind of got over that fear and was right in the mode. And like I said, learned a lot from them as well. So my first month was nerve-wracking, but huge learning curve as well from school, where it's a little more lax and you're just focusing on this one thing. This is a
Yeah.
job site. We mix here, but you need to carry it all the way to the 3rd floor. So as a new apprentice too, you kind of want to prove yourself. So I'm like mixing full buckets, like carrying them all over the place. Like, gotta prove myself. I'm like, and
Yeah.
I don't have a fear of heights really. So I'm happy to climb up on a scaffold or
Sure.
like 12-foot ladder. And I think I I wanted to show them that I was willing to do those things as well. Like, obviously, I'm only going to work safe, but I also wanted them to show, like, I'm here. I know you might have your certain views about me, either just being a new person in taping or because I am a woman.
Yeah.
Where getting down and talking with a couple of my coworkers later, I did find they're like, well, we saw you walk on site. And we're like, she's not she's not going to want to get dirty or like doesn't want to touch the mud. And they're like, you were
Yeah.
right in there. So as soon as we
Yeah.
saw that, we knew you'd be like no issue and no problem. And then, yeah, so the first, year was a little, like I said, lots of learning, lots of positivity, great encouragement from home life, from Clayton, from my mom, my dad, my sister,
Good.
everyone that way, and my friends. And then also, like I said, everyone on site was wonderful. Even the other
Nobody
trades
looked
are
nobody
great.
looked down on you, huh? And they were like, "Oh,
At
Sasha,
least not to
why
my
don't you go
face.
do something with your life? She's wasting her life with all this drywall nonsense." None of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a lot of people, I guess I do surround myself with supportive people and I try to make sure of that. But I'm sure
Good.
maybe there was some chatter behind the scenes, but like I didn't hear any of it, or at least I didn't let it
Okay.
affect me.
Okay.
So, and I've always been like, with being in athletics too, being a woman, obviously it's a little harder to get into things. And I've always been a big advocate for like young girls and just like to be
Yeah.
proud of yourself and confident.
Yeah.
So for me to go down this route too, I was like, what I can do in athletics to be a motivator and inspiration for people, I can
Yeah.
also do it in the trades world as a woman coming into
Absolutely.
it, or just someone in trades. Because whether you're a woman or not, people kind of look down on us in trades and this and that, and think you're stupid, or oh, they're just a dumb drywaller or whatever it is. But like,
Yeah.
it's not true. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And like we were talking about, like the mental stability you have to every day wake up at 4:30 in the morning, know that you're going to go do hard work for 7, 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
to come home and go do it all over again and be dirty while doing it and sore. Like, I think that takes a lot, and not enough people are aren't given their flowers for that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bitch. It's a
Yeah.
bitch. Drywall finishing is a bitch. Like, and
Yeah.
it does take mental stability and also physical ability for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely a part too of why I think I've loved it so much, being an athletic and physical person. Like, it's like
Yeah.
strength training for 7 hours a day. So I'm just
Yeah.
have my arms up pushing on a wall, but like you're staying fit at the same time. So
That
it's kind of
ice
best of both
bath, that
worlds.
ice bath has got to feel good after a hard day in the
It
union.
does, yeah. I will admit it. It's kind of like you hate it at the time, but then once you're
Oh
out, you're like,
yeah.
I've accomplished that and this.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh
yeah.
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 Very good. So when you were in the apprenticeship, did they introduce the tools, any of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Are
So
they advocate of the tools, or is it all just hand finishing, or just a well-rounded amount of all of it?
so the main thing they focus on, because a lot of us out of school, hourly in Ontario, you don't really see people using automatic tools. Like I have here or there, like rip the box on the job site, but
Okay.
that's like if there's a big push or a huge section where it's really needed. Where hourly, like I said, we don't really use the tools. Where if you're working piecework in Ontario, you're using the automatic tools all day
Oh
long.
yeah.
So in school, when I was there for the 3 months, they did mainly focus on hand tools, trowel with your knife and hawk. But then there was, I think it was a 2 week, maybe 2 or 3 week period where they brought out the bazooka. We got to run the bazooka, run the box, all that kind of stuff, the flushers. And I loved it. I was like,
Yeah.
well, if I'm sticking with this, I'm 100% going to get one of these one day, which shout out to level 5 as well. I bought on a big
Nice.
sale, got a 12-inch, a 10-inch box, and a couple nice skimming blades as well.
All
Um,
level 5 stuff.
yeah, all level 5
Okay.
stuff that I've
All
found.
right.
Yeah, it's been some good deals up at CSR, actually, is where I've picked them up from.
Yep. Shout
Um,
out to CSR.
yeah, shout out to CSR as well. A couple of my videos, you'll see the CSR logo on the shirt for sure. But yeah, in school, they kind of gave us the rundown of everything, let us know you'll probably start with hand tools, but they at least give you that base knowledge. So when I went on site, Carlos was like, have you ever ran a box? And I'm like, I have. I've only done it a couple times, but it's worth a try. And like,
Yeah.
I took to it really fast. And now some people in my company don't know how to use the box, and I'm one of the newer apprentices and I could do it all day. So I'm kind of like, it's nice to have that knowledge and skill under my belt,
Yeah.
that if I
Yeah.
need to use hand tools, I can, or if they have a push or whatever they want, I can run the box all day long if they want to as well. So
You got to learn the
definitely,
tools.
yeah, the school gave us, like you're asking, like very versatile and lots of options for us that way.
Cool. What was the incentive for you to buy your own tools? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so I do the odd side job on my own as well. And that, like I said, from my
Yeah.
husband with his coworker kind of doing things, they slowly showed me the ropes that way, and like
Yeah.
just putting myself out there. And honestly, Facebook has been great. All like the Facebook town groups, a lot of people are like, hey, got a basement to finish, got a patch. Does anyone know anyone? And my friends will tag me
Yeah.
or I'll see
Yeah.
it. I'll just DM the person. And honestly, I probably 90% of my jobs have come from Facebook, to be
Does
honest.
City Mark frown on that though, going out and hustling your own work a little bit?
I think in general, across the board, they want to make sure you're showing up every day still at work. So they want to
And a
know
hundred percent.
exactly, right? They don't want to know, well, why'd you miss this day? Was it
Yeah.
because you were actually sick or were you at a side job? And it's like,
Oh,
make the clear distinction. This is work. This is my number one priority is City
yeah.
Mark and my actual union job. That comes first. If I have extra time, that's where I'll fit in the side job sort of that way. But yeah, I know some other people may not follow that kind of system, but yeah, City Mark number one, and then the rest
Okay.
can come because it's
Of
all kind of
course.
gravy in the end. So,
Of
but yeah, that
course.
was my main reason to kind of get the box, and the skimming
Okay.
blade stuff as well.
Yeah.
Was kind of knowing that how much they can speed up time and where you can really make your money that way with them.
Did they teach the skimming blades in the apprenticeship?
No, they didn't. I actually learned on my own, just
WTF.
watching a couple videos. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't know. It's been great though, and now I use them
Yeah.
like for everything. So it's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah.
I've heard good things about the skimming blades. They were before my time, but sometimes we'll get nasty like transition where it goes from texture to new
Yes.
drywall. And my guy Jack has a skimming blade. We'll bust that out for
Yeah.
big
It's nice.
nasty
Yeah. If you
stuff.
need like I have a big, I think a 20-inch trowel, and that's nice. But the skimming blade you can hold with both hands, so it's more
Yeah.
of an even ride rather than the wavy trowel at some
Yep.
point. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they're
I
cool.
think I might have used it once on a couple columns, and then my mom wanted to redo her entrance. So I was like, now or never, I guess I'll try it out at my mom's house. So we took down the wallpaper, I skimmed it all, and then I
Okay.
used my skimming blades on that and turned out great.
Okay.
So once I did that, it was kind of a confidence boost. So I'll bring them to work and everything.
I can go into a job and be like, it's X amount, we can blow over this. And it depends on the wallpaper. If the wallpaper is on there and it has a good
Yeah.
surface, you go through and cut out the edges a little bit. There might be some
Mhm.
stuff to cut out, but you can, we've blown over it so many times and,
Yeah.
with
Makes
minimal
for a good job.
issues.
Yes, definitely.
Very cool. Where are we at? So, I was gonna ask, what's the largest side job that you've ever done? And is there going to be a point where Sasha's like, I'm gonna go on my own. I'm gonna start my own company. Let's do this.
Um, Side job wise, I normally am by myself, so I haven't taken on that large of a job.
Okay.
I don't even know like off the top of my head square footage.
Yeah, that's
But
okay.
I have kind of just like a basic small basement with like a bathroom attachment as well with it. So
Okay.
just to kind of keep the work down and make sure I'm doing it fast enough for the client as well. So kind of more
Yeah.
just small basements. And then a few just garages, but they're pretty basic. It's just a big square room.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like for the future, I would love, especially with my husband, like we have something I think really special here where he does the framing, drywall, I have the taping, and I can paint. So it's
There
like
you go.
pretty well rounded that way. So definitely in the future we've thought about kind of doing our own thing as a company. I know or we know a lot goes into that. So there's lots of research and time to come. I
Yeah.
definitely wanted to finish my apprenticeship. And like I mentioned, I'm super happy where I am too. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, let's see where this takes me right now. But
Yeah.
it's nice to know that if we ever need or anything like that, we kind of have a buffer because we both
Yeah.
can do so much on our own.
It's
Yeah.
cushy. It's cushy getting that paycheck. And
Yeah.
then also, if you can throw a $5,000, $7,000 side job on that once a month, man, that's
Exactly.
awesome.
It takes off a lot of pressure that way.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I've thought of too more recently in the past year with getting so close with Christy and then one of my main union reps that I reach out to bounce ideas off of that sort of thing. His name is, I think Christy mentioned him as well, Ivan Dons. He's done a lot of work for IUPAT across the board and especially for me. So I keep in touch with him and he's kind of got me interested in the whole union rep side of things as well.
There
So
you go.
that
Yeah.
also got some ideas working in my brain that maybe potentially in the future I could be a rep and
Yeah.
continue this push that I want to inspire and motivate people to join the trades, and especially women out there as well.
The only downside to that is that Christy's not so much in the limelight on social. You know,
Yes.
you lose kind of that, like you're in the field, like kicking ass and making
Yeah.
video content and having fun and stuff.
Doing it another way. Yeah.
You're doing it another way.
Mhm.
I've lost it too with the podcast, and you choose your poisons, you go in certain directions,
Yeah.
and but I think as long as there's growth attached to it, if you're growing as a human,
Yeah.
and also if you can inspire other women, people to come into
Yeah.
the trade, that's like worth its weight in gold. I think that's very rewarding.
Yeah.
And
It's major.
that's why it interests me. I'm pissed at colleges, producing, producing these jobless drones,
Yeah.
with a piece of paper that you go and hang on your wall in a giant college loan. Whereas a 3-month program, you can get out making money with full benefits
Yeah.
and a future. Like, and not just
Exactly.
full benefits, but like, I mean, they were making good money 22,
Yeah.
25 years ago when I was doing it. It was like good money for a 3-year time investment. You can be fully journeyed out with
Exactly.
full benefits and
And
stuff.
you're
It's
only 21. Like, say you do it right out of high school or something.
right.
Like, you imagine being 22 and where we are now, but you're doing that then. And by
Yeah,
the
I
time you're
partied. I
30, like,
partied a shitload,
yeah,
Sasha.
yeah, I feel you.
All I had to do was get to work,
Yeah,
man. I
yeah.
remember one time I played indoor soccer because I was still playing soccer. This is up in
Mhm.
Portland. And went to party that night, ended up sleeping in my car. I woke up at
Oh,
like
no.
5 a.m. I was so sick, and I still made it to my dad always said, if it's your fault, you got to make it to work the next
Yeah,
day. Like
I
kind
agree.
of that was always my gauge. Like if I'm naturally sick, okay, that's one thing. But if I'm
Yeah, exactly. You
hungover,
can't control it.
get your ass to the job and show up. And
Yep.
yeah, yeah, not a good idea too. If you're listening, yeah,
Yeah.
you've been
No,
there. If you're a
it's not as fun
drywaller,
as it sounds, guys. Okay. I know we make it sound fun, even though it
no,
was.
it's horrible.
Looking back, sometimes it wasn't.
No,
For sure.
very cool. And another thing I asked, that's so cool. So hopefully, if I get up to Toronto again to CSR,
Yeah.
and we do a training, we do a fresco training, maybe you can make it out for that.
I'd
I
love
think
to. Yeah.
it would be really fun to get in touch with Christy and go and grab both of you guys, and
Yeah.
we'll go over to like the apprenticeship class and do like a fresco harmony demo.
That'd
Like
be sweet.
how
Yeah.
fun would that be? Like
I think that'd be super
I
cool.
was just
Yeah.
sort of thinking about that as you were talking about the unique texture
Yeah.
applications that you did in the class. I was like, oh, it'd be really fun to go play with Fresco Harmony up there.
Right? Like
Like that'd
maybe
be fun.
someone's interested in taping, but then they see the fresco harmony and they're like, well, I find more because it's kind of like it is an art, and then that's like adding color and all this more design aspect to it, right? So even like you're the first person or first company I've heard of that does this sort of thing. So like, who knows? Maybe if I would have known this 10 years ago, I would like, you know what I mean? Like it's all about just pushing the information out there. And like you
Yeah.
said, kind of being
Yeah.
frustrated with colleges and schools. Like I always knew about trades, and it's not like it was hidden from me, but it wasn't ever like pushed or really like influenced or motivated to you. So,
Right.
but like if I would have heard more about the benefits and like the raises, how it's like if you work this hard and you
Right.
put in your work, you are given the money that you deserve rather than fighting for the money that you deserve. So
Right.
could have
I
made a
liked
world of
it.
difference.
I
Yeah.
liked waking up early and making my lunch and going and being
Mhm.
around with the derelicts. And like, I mean, they were
Yeah.
salty. The dudes that I were working with were salty. I hung in there, but it
Yeah.
was like, I liked it. It was
Makes you
like
feel
the
proud too,
day went
right?
by fast. You work hard, you make a good
Mhm.
paycheck.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think it's a fantastic route for people coming out of high school. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm an advocate for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
One thing I do ask is a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow on the drywall community.
A pearl
What
of
do you got?
wisdom. I'd probably just say for anyone that's lost, questioning, just don't know what to do in your life, not happy in the job, just take that leap, take that risk, and take the jump into the trade world. There's so many different trades and avenues you can go into. If you hop into taping and you realize you don't like it on site, maybe you see a plumber or maybe you see a sprinkler fitter. Like you can
Yeah.
just, once you get your foot in the door, there's so many more options for you. And like I said, with companies, you can go here or there. So there's no cap for you in trades. You can always switch, you can always learn. Yeah, if you're ever just questioning anything, I think trades are the place for you. There's lots of different people. You can do whatever you want. Like we were just talking about, you're super proud of yourself every day when you go home. You accomplish a lot. You can
Yeah.
drive down the road and see the building that you finished and point it out to your mom for the seventh time, but
Yeah.
she's still proud of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if anyone needs that little confidence boost, and if you can just hold through, push through that first week, that month, like you're saying too, the toughest part, it will be so rewarding for sure.
Yeah, it gets easier. It gets
Yeah,
it
it
gets it gets
does.
more comfortable. Yeah.
It
It's
sounds
hard.
easier said than done, but it's true. It does get easier.
Yeah, it's hard at
Yeah.
first. Sasha McDonald out of Newtonville, Ontario,
Yes.
30-year-old. Are you a journeyman? Would we call you a journeyman at this point?
No, you know what? I'd like to say it, but no, I'd call myself, I'm still an apprentice. So
Okay,
apprentice
not quite.
journey person. Yeah.
Journey person. And then you're going for your red seal early.
Yeah. Well, not early. I guess in the same amount of time, it's 5,400 hours.
Okay.
But so once I'm done those hours, I'll be going. So say about a year and a half, I'll be going for that red seal.
So cool. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking the
No
time to
problem.
be on the Drywall Podcast. I think this was educational.
Yeah.
You're a fantastic interviewee, and
You're a great interviewer. This
thank
was
you.
great. The flow was wonderful and yeah, easy
Yes.
to talk to. It was perfect.
Yeah. And we'll talk soon. Hopefully, if I get up
Yeah.
to CSR again to have a training, we can actually meet face to face. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I'd love to. That'd be great. And sometime in the future, we can do another podcast. That'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah, we'll catch up with you and see where, where your path has
Yeah.
led, a year from now or something. That'd be really cool.
Sounds like lots of fun for sure.
Okay, Sasha, you have a fantastic day and we'll talk soon.
You too. Thanks. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Shout out to Sasha McDonald for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. Thank you so much for your time. Also, shout out to Columbia Tools. At Columbia Tools, they don't just talk the talk or walk the walk. At Columbia, customer satisfaction is their battle cry. Their top priority is giving you a grade A experience from start to finish. Got a question? Got a concern? They're ready to tackle those issues head on, whether it be by email or phone or even Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, however you can get a hold of them. And be sure to check out their YouTube channel as well for super dialed how-to videos. Their maintenance videos are the secret sauce, and those kick-ass videos will keep your tools in prime condition. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to on your favorite platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. You can watch this entire interview on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Drywall Podcast. I sincerely appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Stay tuned next week for Lee Goldman. Let's get to the bottom of this wet and stick. It might be a 2-part series. You'll have to tune in to find out. But until then, keep drywalling.